They say death has many faces, Whittaker.
Do they, ma'am?
Oh, yeah. Facially, you know. It's a thing. What's the name of this joker?
Barry Wheatley, ma'am. Used to work for the Anderson brothers.
How do you know he still doesn't?
Because he's dead, ma'am.
Is he?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but is he?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but is he really?
Yes, ma'am. He's definitely dead.
Let's look at this from a different angle.
I don't quite know what you mean, ma'am.
Suppose for one moment, Whittaker, suppose none of this exists. You, me, we could all be figments of someone's imagination.
Whose imagination, ma'am?
Could be yours, Whittaker. Could be mine. Could be old Mrs. Dawkins, who runs a pie and mash shop down the Old Kent Road.
I'm not exactly sure where you're going with this, ma'am.
It took Adam and Eve 1 minute to fall from grace in the Garden of Eden, and yet growing out a layered bob can take forever. You haven't got a clue where I'm going with this, have you, Whittaker? I'm gonna use my arms, gonna use my legs, gonna use my style, gonna use my senses, gonna use my fingers, gonna use my imagination. Whoa, 'cause I'm gonna make you see there's nobody else here, no one like me. I'm special. Whittaker.
Special.
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 I'm gonna have some of your attention. Give it to me.
Ooh. Why you look so sad?
Whittaker!
That's the 5th headless body we've pulled out of the river this month. No fingerprints. Been in the drink too long. There's obviously some psycho out there.
Not necessarily, Whittaker. The lady who did this may be every bit as sane as you or I.
Why do you think it's a lady, man?
Because statistically, there are more ladies than chaps in London. Now, I can't be certain, but logically, the perpetrator of these crimes is more likely to be a lady than a chap.
It's going to be a nightmare to identify the bodies. No heads, no fingerprints.
I would have thought that would have made it easier.
How's that, man?
Think about it, Whittaker. How many people in London do you know without heads or fingerprints? Anyone like that would stick out a mile.
But when they were alive, they would have had heads and fingerprints, man.
The cause of death in these cases may not necessarily be decapitation.
So, you mean they were killed before they were decapitated?
You know, technically it is possible to live without a head. You know the phrase about headless chickens running around?
They don't live for very long, ma'am. They fall over after a few seconds. You couldn't live a normal life as a chicken without a head.
I couldn't live a normal life as a chicken without a head. Don't be too sure.
No, not you, ma'am. A chicken.
Well, then, are you saying that a chicken's life is a normal life? What's normal about having feathers and eating grain?
I'm not exactly sure where you're going with this, ma'am.
You're still learning, aren't you, Whittaker?
I like to think I do a good professional job.
I used to go to embroidery classes when I was a child. And I learnt more about being a detective from those embroidery classes than I ever did at that place where I learned to be a detective.
I don't understand, ma'am.
One day you will, Whittaker. One day you will.
What are you thinking, ma'am?
I'm thinking, how about this? Suppose, just for the sake of argument, that the bullet didn't enter the body.
But it did, ma'am. He's dead, and it's because of the bullet going straight through his heart.
Yes, I know that, Whittaker, but for the sake of argument, let's say the bullet did not enter the body.
Well, that would mean that Stevens would still be alive.
Exactly. If there was no bullet, Stevens would still be very much alive.
But he's not, ma'am. He's dead.
I know that, Whittaker, but just suppose there was no bullet. What would that mean?
Well, it would mean that Stevens would still be alive and we wouldn't be here investigating his murder.
Exactly.
I'm not exactly sure where you're going with this, ma'am.
I want you to shoot me with the murder weapon, Whittaker.
What?
Take this and shoot me in the heart. Just do it. It'll be perfectly okay. I just need to be certain that a bullet in the heart is enough to kill someone.
I think... No, I'm sure it will kill you, ma'am.
Just squeeze the trigger.
I really don't want to kill you, ma'am.
How do you know you'll kill me?
This is a .44 Magnum, and I'm standing a foot away from you.
Oh, Whittaker, Whittaker. Just when I thought you were making progress.